Sunday football, my friends, and here we go. Week 5. Joe, are we starting to have these teams reveal who they really are now? Week 5, man.
And we're going to reveal them today, John. And I just want to say happy Halloween. It's going to get spooky out today. Tune in. Week 5, baby.
It's going to get spooky. You're right. Week 5. But we got a couple weeks for it to get real spooky around here. But NFL-wise, I mean, this is it. Now, we start getting up into the area like this in the Week 5. Teams are starting to show us who they really are. Stats are coming in like on Sports Static, so it's a little bit easier for us to kind of tell and judge what's going on. And, of course, guys, with the matchups we got going on today, there's going to be some pretty good matchups. And look for a couple teams that didn't produce very well to be a little bit ticked off today.
I completely agree, John. We have a lot of good games today. Well, we all know who I'm rooting for, right? The Buccaneers against the Saints. It's going to be a great game. I got that game. But the game of the week, the Packers against the Cowboys. The bad man against Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott, the dynamic duo. But you know who I'm going with? The Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers, I mean, hey, if Aaron Rodgers can have a good day and he can hit his guys and get that running game going, it's going to be nice. It's going to be fun. Of course, you know it's going to come down. Like last year, we didn't see it. But I can tell you right now what it's going to come down to. Defense, Joe. Defense, my friend.
I completely agree, John. And look, Green Bay's defense is good, but I believe Dallas's defense is a little bit better because it's the highest paid defense in the league. And let's just look at some statistics here. Total yards, Green Bay has about 100 less total yards than Dallas. And Dallas, Dallas is playing really well. Solid team offensively and defensively. However, I do have the Green Bay Packers winning this one.
Why? Well, I mean, aside from anything like that, what if Rodgers doesn't have that good day today? I mean, you know how it is.
Right, and I still think they're going to win even without Devontae Adams because Adams isn't even playing today, which is probably a surprise to a lot of people, but I believe the run game is going to be the difference, John, and I think Aaron Jones has a big game today.
Run game going to be the difference. That's going to be huge. And, what I like seeing things come back to is I like seeing everything coming back to defense and teams having to establish the run, which is huge. And the teams that are doing the best with the running backs are the teams that are being able to dump the ball off. So if you've got a running back, you know who gets paid in running backs today? The running backs that have good hands and can catch the ball. It used to be, a running back that had the juke moves and would hit the holes, be patient, could also block. Now it's a running back that has good hands. Joe, what do you expect to see with some of those running backs today?
Well, I'm going to tell you some fantasy sleepers and some fantasy starters that you guys should start on your fantasy team. So let's go with number 1 who can catch and run, Le'Veon Bell. Great running back. However, the offensive line isn't very good for the Jets. Another good one, I think Kamara's going to be good today, and I believe Ronald Jones. Definitely a surprise at running back for the Bucs. I think Ronald Jones has a big game. We also have a couple others, Zeke and Leonard Fournette. That's who I would be starting today.
Nice. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run through some of the games real quick. And guys, I'll run through them real quick. Not going to go into much discussion on the games yet. We're going to get to that soon. But we're definitely going to run through some of these games today. Let me give you guys the whole rundown of the schedule and what's going on. Okay. We have, of course, Joe, how about that game on Thursday night? Rams at the Seahawks. How about that?
Right, yeah. So I did pick the Rams. That was my prediction, but Zerline missed a game-winning field goal. I thought it was a great game. Todd Gurley went off. He had 2 touchdowns. Goff played decent. I thought it was a good game all around. It was a very exciting game, and, hats off to them. The Rams kind of gave that one up.
The Rams did, and, I'll tell you what, Goff, man, yeah. You had the freaking chance right there, throwing it in the end zone. Yeah, Goff, you cost me $500. And that last series, Goff, it was the touchdown I needed, my friend. Not the field goal. I needed the touchdown. And you cost me $500, man. I just went home and I went to bed, man. You know, I tell you what, man. That Goff doesn't look the same this year, Joe.
He doesn't. It's really weird. But, you know, once coaches get that tape on you, and then the next year, people have that sophomore slump because they know everything about you. So we're going to have to see how the Rams do this upcoming season. So,
well, one good thing with the Rams is that if they put it together, and I mean, if they can put it together, then they're going to have something good going on, because I think they have great schemes. And that's part of it, Joe, is having great schemes with these teams here. So, to me, you can put it together. First of all, they got a defense. We know that, right? They got a defense. So, of course, it hasn't been exactly as dominant, but they got a defense. Now, when you get McVay to start really putting some plans together against these teams, I think they can put it together. But, of course, like you said, Joe, people figure stuff out, man. These other teams, man, and these defensive coordinators, man, they figure it out, man. They've had the whole season to figure this stuff out, Joe.
Yeah, I completely agree, John. I mean, Sean McVay is probably one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. He runs a lot of, he runs jet sweeps. He changes the offensive line, audibles a lot, and he has a great team there as well. And I'm still sticking with the Rams as my Super Bowl prediction, so we'll see how it goes.
Really?
Yeah.
You really sticking with the Rams still?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to change my pick, so sticking with the Rams.
Okay. Guys, you heard it here first. Joe picking the Rams to go to the Super Bowl against who, Joe?
The Patriots.
Really?
Yeah. So, it's real hard to pick against Brady and Belichick. It's really hard.
You're picking the Patriots to go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Against the Rams?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's a big deal, Joe. Okay, right, guys. I'm coming back to run through these games. Here we go. Jaguars. The Jaguars are at the Panthers. Speaking of the Patriots, the Patriots are at the Redskins. Joe, just going to stop there for a second. What do you think? I mean, obviously with the Patriots at the Redskins, you can expect Brady to have a big week because of what we saw out of him last week, which was not very impressive for Brady. Hopefully for Patriot fans, Brady fans, that's not a sign of things to come. What do you think, Joe, after his performance last week, and now you're going up against a very poor secondary in Washington? I think you're going to see a lot of White. I think you're going to see a lot of Gordon. Talk to me, Joe.
Yeah, I completely agree. I believe Gordon's going to have a huge game because Josh Norman, I think, is a little overrated for the money he's getting paid. So I think Josh Gordon has a couple touchdowns and has a big game. Brady definitely has a bounce-back game. And those running backs, that three-headed monster, Burkhead, Michelle, and James White, they're going to catch a lot of screens in the backfield and have a couple touchdowns as well.
Nice. So, guys, keep that in mind. I want you guys to pay a little bit of attention to all this stuff going on here because it's going to make a huge difference in what we're talking about. Let's go back and move right along after that. You've got the Bills at the Titans. Man, everybody should. If you don't yet, you should have the Bills on your radar, okay? If you do not yet, you should have the Bills on your radar, okay? And they're at the Titans. That'd be a good game. Ravens are at the Steelers. Another good game. Cardinals at the Bengals. I mean, come on, man. I'm just not impressed. I'm not. Yeah. Because of the situation, Murray at quarterback for the Cardinals should have a good game. Falcons are at the Texans. Buccaneers at the Saints. Tough divisional game right there. We got a lot to find out about that game, Joe. Vikings at the Giants. Bears. The Bears are at the Raiders. And what I want to do, Joe, we got to give a shout out to London. Okay?
Hey, shout out to London.
Okay. We got the Bears, Chicago Bears, playing the Raiders in London. And, guys, this is at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in Tottenham, London. And we actually ran some special stuff today just for you guys in London. I don't know what kind of sports shows you got, I said, but I do know one thing. We're happy for you to join our sports show. We're here every week, so, you know, you got plenty. So we're happy to have you join our sports show. Tottenham Stadium, okay? Sports Static is going to be throwing you guys some stuff. Tailgate that party, guys. I don't know how you do it in London, but I know how we do it over here, Joe. When it's a football game, you know. I mean, Joe, what do you expect of these people in London getting an NFL?
Hey, I know the Englanders, they party hard. I know they're going to be cracking some beers, having some liquor, and they're going to be partying. They're going to be partying their butts off, and I'm happy.
So at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, you guys have got the matchup, okay? The Bears against the Raiders. Here's a little something for you guys to know. If you guys have not yet seen this show, you guys are going to see quite the show from Khalil Mack. I mean, this guy, Mack, you guys are going to get a show. What a great game to have in London, Joe. I mean, Joe, some people might not think so. I think this is a great game for the fans in London and at Tottenham Stadium and the city there around there. I've looked into you guys a little bit. Cool city, and I think I'm going to have to make a trip for one of those because, man, I like the area. I got to check it out, though, a little bit more. Check it out a little bit more details and see what we got there, Joe. What should they be doing today, Joe?
I'd love to go there as well. And I think you guys are going to see a defensive game today. I think the Raiders are going to get at the quarterback. There's going to be a lot of strip sacks, a lot of fumbles. Expect Khalil Mack to maybe get a return for a touchdown.
Oh, Joe, that's a huge, huge prediction. Guys, what I want to tell you at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, what I want to tell you guys is, I don't know. I mean, because one thing I can't tell you to do is be enthusiastic because of the fact that you guys are crazy football, soccer fans. You guys are crazy soccer fans. I mean, it's off the chain, okay? Sometimes we got some lameness going on, but the tailgate party, I don't know what you guys do. Do you guys tailgate over there in London? I mean, I hope so. Get some burgers going on. We need somebody. This is what we need, Joe. We need somebody from Tottenham that's going to the game today to see the Bears and the Raiders. We need one of you guys to come in on this live stream, Sports Static, Leap Alive, whatever it is, and comment and tell us how you're prepping today for this game and the ways that you're able to watch it and things like that. It'd be cool for you guys to comment in just so we know that we got you. It would be super cool. Moving along here after that Bears-Raiders game. By the way, that kicks off, okay, at 1 o'clock here. I think they'll be at 7 o'clock there. So you guys you guys in London should be a little bit toasty. Jets are at the Eagles. That's it. Yeah, that's the lookout. We're going to talk about that when we get to our fantasy segment because, Joe, I think Mr. Wentz has the potential of having a pretty big game here today.
I think so, too. I think he has a huge game. Defense probably comes alive in that game. Le'Veon, I think, has a big game as well, but it's not going to be enough because the Eagles are way too firepowered.
I agree. I don't know if Darnold's back today, and we'll have to just keep our eyes on that to see if he's actually back today or not. Broncos are at the Chargers. That's your 4:05. Going into the 4:05 game, 4 o'clock. Broncos at the Chargers. 4:25. The Packers are at the Cowboys. That's going to be a really good. Joe, you touched on it a little bit. You're taking the Packers on that one. They are at Cowboys, Joe.
Yeah, right. It is a surprising pick, but I'm a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers, and I should be wearing a jersey, maybe in a couple weeks, Aaron Rodgers jersey.
Wow. Is somebody sending you that jersey, Joe? I'm a little bit jealous here right now.
I wish.
Oh, man. All right, so 8 o'clock, the 8:20 game is the Colts at the Chiefs. We've talked about the guy. We've talked about Brissett. You like him? I don't know about this Kansas City thing going on here. The Colts defense, you know, they're looking, they have their really good points. I think this will be a good game, Joe.
Yeah, I do. I think so too. Darius Leonard is out, one of their rookie star linebackers, so I do believe the Chiefs are going to win this game with Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill's playing. So, yeah, I'm going to have the Chiefs in this one.
Awesome. The Chiefs in that one, and I can't go against that. So, that's the quick rundown, guys, of what's actually going on. The quick rundown. So, first and foremost, let me kind of come over to the comments. Good morning, Ian. Steelers Day. Oh. I heard you, Ian. Steelers Day. But, Joe, I don't know. What's going on with his Steelers today?
Oh, man. Ian, it's going to be a tough one today, Ian. The Ravens against the Steelers. The thing is, it's just the Steelers just played the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals aren't very good. But, Ian, I'm going with the Steelers today, man. This is my upset alert for today. The Steelers are going to take it because Bud Dupree and that defense is going to get at Lamar Jackson. They're going to spy Lamar Jackson. James Conner has a big game. Juju has a big game. Steelers Nation.
That's a bold prediction right there with the Pittsburgh Steelers taking that game. But, hey, Ian, we know you're going to be rooting for him all the way. He's still working on that Joe Knows shirt. Joe knows. And then sometimes, Joe, I don't know, Joe. I don't know. So, welcome back to the show. Zane's on there, monitoring the situation, I assume. This guy is always on top of it, Mr. Zane. We've got, who else do we got on here right now? I got to go over to the other format there. Joe, I know you gave us a little bit of insight there on that game with the Steelers, but what I want to know is, what about those Ravens?
Yeah. Okay.
You're saying Steelers are winning this. What about the Ravens?
Well, I think the Ravens have a good game, but I'm actually on the under of how many yards Lamar Jackson's going to throw. They said he's going to throw 250 yards. I don't think he's going to throw that many yards. I think he has a lot of rush yards, and I think they're going to run the ball a lot. But I just think that Steelers defense, they're going to spy him, and I think they're going to get at him today. Also, I think the Ravens defense is very good, so I think it's going to be a low-scoring game and a grind-out game, but I got the Steelers in this one.
What happened to your man Lamar? You were huge on Lamar. Okay, you were huge on him. Now you got Rudolph leading this Pittsburgh offense against Lamar. And did Lamar cool off a little bit, Joe?
He did cool off a little bit, but I'm still a huge fan of Lamar Jackson. And I'm a fan of Rudolph also. He came in with confidence, and he led his team against the Bengals. So, gonna have to take the Steelers, John.
You're taking the Steelers. I'm kind of going back and forth with a couple things here. Joe knows. That's what Ian's saying. See, Joe knows. So we'll see on that. We got to run through the picks here a little bit later, and we'll see what's up with that. Moving along here, guys. You got to excuse me because producer Dave is not in the studio today, so I'm like flying around, and I've got to try to keep up with you guys because that's what it's all about. It's the fans, when it's from the fans and back to the fans, and then throw it back at them, Joe. It goes back out to you guys, okay? It goes back out to the fans. So that's what it's all about. Guys, we're going to get ready to give to you our fantasy segment. Rolling in for you guys, our fantasy segment. And I know you guys love your fantasy stuff. I know you love it, okay? Here's some of your fantasy. Guys, that is the fantasy right there, the fantasy. And I know you guys like that fantasy stuff right there. I know that you love it. We're trying to give you guys a little bit more on the fantasy side of stuff, okay? So, what we've done is we've created a fantasy. And we really want to get into some of these things, and we're going to start doing this a little bit more often with our stardom and or sit 'em. And we'll go through some of the quarterbacks, some of the receivers, and some of the running backs. Joe, first and foremost, let's go right into it. Talk to me, Joe.
Well,
What do you see as far as we're going start 'em, sit 'em, and first and foremost, Joe, do you have any team stats that you might want to throw out? Team defenses, teams of that nature that you might want to throw out?
yeah. So, Buccaneers Saints. Let's go with Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston's a must start, even though he does make a couple bad decisions. But I think Byron Leftwich, offensive coordinator, gives him great plays to run. And I think Mike Evans has a big game as well, even though Lattimore is a very good cornerback. And guess what? Michael Thomas is also a must start. He's going against 5'10" Vernon Hargreaves, and we know how Saints receivers do against the Bucs defense.
Right.
Another fantasy guy that I would start, Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson's a must start. That's about it on the Ravens.
Well, let's do this. Let's back this up, first
Yeah.
of all, and talk about team, not players.
Yeah.
Is there particular if anybody's going to start a defense, if they're going to, what they're going to do? Let's first go with defenses, and then we'll go to quarterbacks strictly. We'll run down. We're going to do the top 5, okay? We'll do the top 5 in quarterbacks, top 5 in receivers, top 5 in running backs. So let's first, with some of the people out there that are thinking about starting a particular defense, Joe, what do we got for giving somebody a little bit of a heads up on a defense to start?
Well, you got to go with the Chicago Bears. That's a number 1 defense you have to start. And the defense you also have to start is the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are a great defense. So one other defense I would want to start, the Eagles against the Jets. That's a really good matchup for the Eagles. And one more, we have to go with the Jaguars. I don't think the Panthers, even though Kyle Allen has been doing very well, I think the Jaguars defense does pretty well and puts up some probably double-digit points.
I think that Bears defense is very good. So guys, if you were thinking on a defense like that, let's go into quarterbacks today. There's some interesting matchups. A couple of them that we did a slight point out to. I think right away an obvious one would probably be Brady, would probably be Wentz because of the matchup there, and potentially Kyler Murray. I mean, Kyler Murray may actually have a damn good game here today, points-wise, guys. So I'd be paying attention to that. Joe, why don't you run down for me what people might be considering some of these top 5 quarterbacks, and we'll mix right into it with the start 'em, sit 'em. So who you may sit, who you may start. Talk to me, Joe.
Right, so I'm definitely going to start Carson Wentz, like you said. I would start Brady. I would start Mahomes. I would also start Jameis Winston. The quarterbacks that I would sit, I'm going to sit Derek Carr. I would sit, I would sit Kirk Cousins because he's been in a drought as of late. Stephon Diggs wants out. I would also sit, I would sit the Broncos quarterback. I would sit Joe Flacco. And that's about it right now, John.
Nice. What I'm thinking of, sorry guys, get a little bit of going here with it. My spaceship thing was just getting a little bit carried away on me there, and I love it. It's all about the fantasy stuff. So my spaceship was just getting a little bit carried away on me. But there's our fantasy picks. A little static in the back for you. Static fantasy picks. So anyway, quarterbacks for me, I mean, hang on, I got to catch up to the Steelers. Go Steelers. Boom, boom, boom. The Steelers' wildcat offense will be the key today. The D will step up. That's Ian and producer John today. Yeah, producer John today, Ian. Dave is not in here. So when you guys see me, okay, like this, I'm literally controlling the board. I'm controlling the graphics. I'm controlling your comments. I'm controlling the audio. I'm controlling the show, and it's a multitask thing. If you've ever played the guitar and sang at the same time, tapped your foot and chewed bubble gum, you know what I'm talking about. So it's a little bit woo. So guys, bear with me. If I'm not sitting here and making eye contact with you and going, hello, my friends, bear with me because I'm running through a lot of stuff here right now and it makes it a little bit different. But hey, this is what happens when you're streaming live and you're doing live shows. You got to be ready to wear many hats at any given time. So I want to cruise over. Joe, let's get in. We talked about the quarterbacks. Let's talk about receivers, which is a huge correlation right into the quarterbacks. So, Joe, talk to me about receivers. Let me get that top 5.
Okay, number 1 on top of my list is Michael Thomas. We know what Saints receivers do to Bucs cornerbacks, and they absolutely burn them. Second receiver, Julio Jones. Julio Jones, I think, has a good matchup against the Texans, even though the Texans, pretty good defense, but I think Julio Jones has a big game. Another big game, Mike Evans. Mike Evans coming off of a 3-touchdown game. He is going against a very good cornerback in Marshawn Lattimore, but I believe that he does have maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns in there. Another wide receiver, fourth one, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, 99 speed in Madden. He's a great receiver. I think he burns that defense and probably gets a couple touchdowns as well. Let me see here. Josh Gordon. Like I said, Josh Gordon, I think, has a huge game, and I think he absolutely burns Josh Norman. Let's go one more. I think Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's a very big sleeper in fantasy. A lot of people pass up on Keenan Allen, but he's a wide receiver 1. You know, you're going to have Von Miller coming at Phillip Rivers, but I think Keenan Allen's going to have a huge game. So those are my top 5 receivers. You want to win this week, got to start them.
Well, who are you going to sit?
Oh, well, let's see who I'm going to sit. Okay, and also, Dana, if you're watching, DJ Chark, I would definitely start him as well. I would sit Tyrell Williams on the Raiders. I would sit every Titans receiver. I don't really like the Titans. They need to run the ball to Derrick Henry more. I would sit... Yeah, let's see here. I would sit Chris Godwin. I don't think he's going to have a great game today, even though he probably should, because all the attention is going to be on Mike Evans, but I would sit Chris Godwin. And lastly, I would sit, let me see, all the Cardinals and Bengals receivers, I would sit them. So those are my wide receivers that I would sit.
Nice. I'm looking for seeing some big matchups today, guys. When you're just right now, we're at the point on the fantasy picks and talking about quarterbacks, receivers. Think and look, okay? One of the things you're going to focus on and look at really, what you really want to do, is you want to see who's giving up, the most pass yards. And when you start looking at that, guys, and you're trying to make these fantasy picks, it's strictly matchup. And when you see that there's a team that's giving up, it doesn't matter on wins or losses, guys, when it comes to the fantasy. It matters because you could have a team that's giving up a bunch of yards, right? But their offense just tears teams up. So they can just go back and forth. Then it comes down to last possession and who's on the football field and who has the ball last and scores that thing. We've seen that so many times last year. Last year, we had those huge scoring games. It was an offensive league. It was a huge scoring thing. You know what mattered last year? Who had the possession of the ball last in the fourth quarter. And I'll just tell you this. It was close, back and forth. This season, Joe, we're starting to see a lot more that these defenses are showing up. The secondaries are playing better. The linebackers are playing better. The defenses, just in one season, Joe, are reloaded and looking good. And we're not going to see, I really don't think, we're going to see a lot like that. So in these fantasy situations, Joe, it really does matter if they're stopping the pass. Not so much who wins the game. Right. When we're picking receivers.
I completely agree. And we all know defense wins championships. So, and this is my reason for the Chiefs not making it to the Super Bowl. Their defense gives up so many yards. If you look it up, they give up 426 yards per game.
Who's that?
The Chiefs. That's a lot.
Right. So if you're playing them, that's the point, right?
Yeah, that's the point.
Don't be so Joe. You're making the point that just because you got a team playing Kansas City, don't get yourself confused on the idea that this is fantasy, okay? It's more about if you're going to pick the receiver that's facing them today to have a successful day. So, I don't know, Joe. I mean, is that a potential today with the game with Kansas City and the Colts?
Yeah, and I think the Chiefs are going to win just because of their high-powered offense.
Right.
But, you know, the Colts are very good. Jacoby Brissett doesn't make any mistakes. He's a solid quarterback.
He is.
So I think it's going to be a close game, but the Chiefs are going to pull it out.
The Chiefs are going to pull it out. Is there something, aside from, first and foremost, Joe, you've said this, and I know a lot of people, they might not be looking at Mahomes or any receivers, but KC has some pretty bad to the bone receivers, and they don't even have Hill back yet, Joe. Potentially back today.
Yeah, right. So if Hill's not out, I'd go, I think his name's Harding. I believe his name's Harding. And also, I would go with Travis Kelce.
Yes.
Travis Kelce's huge. Definitely tight end one, probably the best tight end in the league.
And then the Colts. I mean, you got the Colts that are going up against this poor secondary.
So I would definitely go T.Y. Hilton, and that's
T.Y.
it. I wouldn't go Moncrief. I'd go just T.Y. Hilton and Marlon Mack.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. I'm going to catch up here. And Ian says, I know it's Monday Night Football, but take Kittles and Chubb. Man, Chubb.
Yeah.
Man, Chubb.
He's good.
You know, what I did not expect from Chubb is his passing gear. His second gear. He downshifted and punched it, Joe. That guy has wide open speed.
He does. He definitely has breakaway speed. And look, he had, 4 touchdowns last game? Wow. That was a big fantasy game.
That was a come-out game for that guy because there's something there in his confidence and everything else, but he's running really hard. I mean, he's running hard. But just to say, his breakout speed, man, and just the way he left. Look, it wasn't like he left linebackers. He left everybody, Joe. Defensive backs, his wide receivers that were trying to make downfield. He left everybody, Joe.
He did. And listen, I think Nick Chubb's going to have a big game against San Francisco. And I have Cleveland winning against San Francisco. So, what do you think?
I'll save that. I'll save that. It's coming soon. But now that we are talking about a Nick Chubb and we're talking stuff like that, Joe, let's get right in to running backs, guys. To me, the running backs, and with fantasy and everything, it's tough. It's pretty exciting. Some of the success you're going to get with your running back is a huge part to do with the quarterback and how many blitzes he's going to face. Because when you have good offensive coordinators, when you have a quarterback that can drop the dime, he can do little drop-off passes, that's where you're going to take advantage of something per se, Brady, White, which we saw last year, such a dominant thing, time and time again, all the way down the field. I mean, it's just bizarre how nobody knew that, like they didn't know it was coming. Everybody knew what was coming, but it couldn't be stopped. So the running back, in your fantasy picks, something I'm paying attention to with some of these, because they're tough, and you never know where you're getting that breakout one. So this could be that the sleeper pick that you're going to pick in that would have direct impact if you're looking at a defense who heavily blitzes, a heavy blitz defense. If you're a good offensive coordinator, you have strategically planned for a Chubb, for a White, for these type of players with hands, Le'Veon Bell, who basically would seem like he was the first breakout one that was like a wide receiver at the running back position. That's where you're going to see that the running back you pick could have a huge breakout day in fantasy points just because of the fact that he's playing a defense that loves to get after the quarterback and blitz. So, Joe, with that being said, talk to me about some fantasy pick running backs.
Okay, so first running back I would pick is Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb has a big game coming off 4-touchdown game. I think he has a big game. And the 2 running backs, Ezekiel Elliott, I believe, has a huge game, and I believe Aaron Jones has a huge game. Dallas Cowboys give up a lot of rushing yards, and so do the Green Bay Packers. So you have to have those 2. Some sleepers, I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. If they feed Derrick Henry the ball, because Derrick Henry can catch out of the backfield, and he gets goal line touches as well. So I think he'll be a huge sleeper. And I think
I'm coming back real quick, Joe. Sorry, cut you off. I got to admit, and it could be the matchup thing today, but man, I just haven't been impressed as of late with Henry's running. He's like running 2 yards and laying down, and he's a big boy, and I seen something totally different with him. There was no way that was happening to him on first contact last year. I just think that he's giving up on his runs a little too early, and I paid great attention to it because I called for this guy to do some great things. I don't see the same thing in Henry this year. I mean, some people may argue with me, well, what'd you do, pick him on one great run he had last year? I mean, no, I didn't. I watched the way he ran as a big power running back, where you're almost talking about a Lynch. How many times and how many hits does he take before he goes down, and yards after contact? Joe, for his size, and not meaning to cut you off on these running backs things, but I don't know about Henry, man.
Right. I mean, he is really unpredictable, and the Titans' O-line isn't very good, so we can't really predict his production, but I think that's why he's a sleeper. That's why I believe he's a sleeper. And another sleeper I think is going to be Ronald Jones. We kind of have like a 2-headed monster at running back on the Bucs now. We got Peyton Barber and we have Ronald Jones. I think Ronald Jones is going to ultimately take his starting position, and I think he's going to have a couple touchdowns today. Bucs take it.
Now, talking about that, Joe, right there, you concreted my point right in there.
Yeah.
Ronald Jones is being successful just for exactly the fact and why he will get the starting position, Joe, is because of how he's running the ball.
Right. He's running it, very aggressively, tough. He's breaking tackles. His yards after, contact are a lot. So he's doing real well. Bruce Arians utilizing him pretty well. So excited to watch the game.
And thanks, Joe, for busting that out with Jones, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. You're looking at how hard this guy, he's surprised people, but it's not surprising he's having success when you watch the aggression at which he's hitting the holes. He's hitting those holes. There's a couple styles of running backs, guys. There's a Le'Veon Bell, who is known as one of the more patient running backs in the league. He's very patient, and it looks like he's barely running when he gets the ball. He's letting the holes develop. He knows his team, so he feels them out, and he's kind of practiced that way with them, and it works for him. Works for them. Other running backs, the style of Le'Veon Bell does not work for them. They do too much before they hit the hole. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is there some running backs who can hit the hole and hit it aggressively and get their 4 or 5 yards, boom, like that. And then there's other backs like Bell who are more patient, see a hole open up, and they're busting out those 15-yard and 10, 15-yard runs. That's the difference in running backs. But Ronald, I'm looking for him to take the starting position, just like you said, Joe.
Hey, I agree with you. And some other fantasy picks that I would go with in running back, I'd go with Mark Ingram. I think Mark Ingram's having a big game, even though he's getting up there in age. And I'd also go Alvin Kamara as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's who I would get.
Kamara, what do you think about him as of late?
I mean, I like Kamara, but the thing is, the Bucs, we held McCaffrey to 34 rushing yards. We held Todd Gurley to less than 100 rushing yards. I mean, we have the second best rushing defense in the NFL. So I think that makes some volume.
Okay, so there's a lot of the rundown, guys, on your fantasy. I'm going to try, like I said, to keep up with you guys if you have fantasy questions and things of that nature. Michelle Reptoy just joined the show. Michelle, I don't know what you're up in Crystal, where you are. You got the family up in the hood.
Huh.
If Joe's there with you, which, I mean, my mama, I know my mom's in the Great Lakes area. So, welcome to the show, Michelle. Looking over at some of my other platforms here, guys, I don't want to leave you behind. So I'm trying to bounce back and forth to all my platforms here. If you guys have any more, oh, there's Cheryl. Cheryl's on the Leap Alive one. That's okay. You can watch it at Sports Static. You can watch it at Leap Alive. You can watch it on YouTube. We got the platforms for you. Cheryl, what's going on up there? And are you? I hope you have cool weather. I know it's hot here, Joe. Is it not hot here, Joe?
Oh, it's hot, but it's cooling off a little bit.
Were you out on the town last night, Joe?
Like always.
And was it not perfect weather at night here in Florida? Joe, I was out watching the High Fives local band over at Johnny's, rocking out some music, everything from, man, they played Zeppelin, they played Guns N' Roses, they played, man, there was a country song, like a rock country song that was played. There was Guns N' Roses, it was cool. Then they played, I can't even tell you all the songs. They even played Tom Petty, but then they played newer stuff, guys, and I can't name them off to you. But anyway, out on the town, the Tampa Bay area, Tarpon Springs at Johnny's Grill, the High Fives played last night. And Joe, we can finally tell a difference in Florida when you know you got a nice breeze at night and it's cooling off. Hopefully, you were enjoying the outdoor weather, Joe.
I was enjoying it a lot, John. It was cool. I was at Party City. I got a clown mask. I might be Antonio Brown for Halloween today, man. And I also wanted to say, I was watching the Spider-Man movie. That's a great movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Might have to check it out, you mean?
Yeah, I checked it out, man.
All right, we might. Hey, there it is right there. Joe's giving you now the tips on the movies, Spider-Man movie. I'll take some good advice from you on that one, Joe. A lot of times I don't go to the movie theater, and I wait for it to come out on. I'm a big Amazon Prime fan, guys. That's what I do. Cheryl says it's 50 degrees up there in Michigan. Any of you know Michigan areas and Crystal Lake area? 50 degrees, I'm a little bit jealous. I could handle 50 degrees right now and get me a nice thin long sleeve shirt on and some cool area and maybe a little bonfire or something. Joe, have you ever done bonfires here in Florida? It's a rare thing, dude.
I have. I've done a bonfire and we roasted marshmallows.
Typically, a bonfire in Florida is the week after Christmas and everybody burns their Christmas tree. Have you ever done that, Joe?
I have not done
I got to get you to come to one of them bonfires this year. Sky high, man. Sky high flames, man. It's good stuff. Guys, there you go with a little bit of fantasy stuff. If you guys have detailed stuff and you're still thinking, hey, this guy versus this guy, I don't know, make sure you comment and we're going to sick Joe on it. Joe, can you handle it? Can you handle the quick versus? Like if they say, hey, I got Chubb versus Cook, who you got for me, Joe? Who am I going to start?
Right, I got you guys.
You got him. Awesome. So, guys, there's your little fantasy thing going on there. Thank you, guys, for tuning in. Let's go. What we're going to start doing is we are going to start breaking down our picks of the week. I've got to fly back real quick over here. I don't want to neglect anybody. There's Michelle Reptoy telling me that it's 50 degrees. She's in a hoodie, capris, and flip-flops. That's a true Michigan girl right there, Michelle. That's awesome right there. I'm jealous. Hoodie, capris, and flip-flops. Wow. What a combination. Is there football going on today, Michelle? That's what I want to know. Is there football? I know you've gotten into the soccer thing here with your boy, but is there football going on today somewhere? I got to know. And get some nachos with the jalapenos and the shredded cheese. You bake it on the cooking pan for 10 minutes. Perfect, crisp. Joe, have you even tried that yet? Or do I gotta show you one time?
We gotta have a cooking show or somebody coming up here, John, and I gotta know how to make those nachos.
That's what we're gonna do. Okay. Producer Dave, I know you're listening. You're just not here, But that's what we're going to do. Guys, we'll do this for you. And I want you guys to do the same for us. Great idea, Joe. We're going to have a little bit of your appetizer favorites. And so we'll get a camera set up in the studio kitchen, and we will do a little bit of the appetizer scenario special. And anybody else that has that going on, and we can go to you, we can get you guys. Don't think you can't be on camera. Very easily can be on camera. You got to register for the show, though. You guys, you got to register for the show. And I've been waiting for you guys. I've been waiting. So make sure that you register. Check this out right here, guys. Moving into our picks. Moving into hard picks. Sports static and the hard picks, guys. Here we go. Joe, let's run down with these picks. The Jags are at the Panthers, Joe.
Well, I'm going with the Jags in this one, John. I think Kyle Allen's been looking real good. However, without Cam Newton, I have to go with the Jaguars and Gardner Minshew. I love Gardner. Gonna get a Gardner jersey. DJ Chark, I think, has a big game as well. Leonard Fournette has a big game. Going with the Jags.
And I will tell you guys this right now to consider this. The Panthers are not so hot right now stopping the run. Fournette's going to have a freaking big game, okay? Right now, I'm just telling you. Keep this on your radar. You might chime in with Joe on a fantasy point about this. But I'm saying, watch out with that Jags running game today, because I'm expecting there to be some mega yards for Fournette today. And I can tell you this right now. If you guys have that question, Joe, should I start this guy or should I start Fournette? That could potentially be something you guys are ignoring here, is that the Panthers, Joe, have not been real good at stopping the run right now, and Fournette's hot.
Right, and it's weird to me too, because they just picked up Gerald McCoy from the Bucs.
Right,
and he's a run stopper.
But well, I've never liked him, but he's supposed to be, right?
Right, they're paying him good money to be a run stopper, and you're right, John. The Panthers aren't. They're not stopping the run pretty well, and I think McCaffrey has a big game as well.
And I agree with that. It's just I want people to really take a look into this. I'm giving you a pointer right here with the fantasy. Take a look at this and see right now how poorly Carolina's actually stopping that run. And look who they're facing, okay? I'm telling you right now, that's what's going to give Minshew the break there, is when that running game opens it up. Because, Joe, they're going to have to bring that secondary up. They're going to have to bring the secondary up to stop the run, I think. Their defensive line and linebackers aren't getting it done, Joe.
Right, and they're going to have to bring them up. They're going to have to press, and they're going to have to stack the box. And guess what? I think they might get beat deep once they do that. So we're going to have to tune in and see.
Quiche night in Michigan. Oh, wow. Now I'm really... the 50-degree weather made me a little bit jealous, but now I'm over the top jealous right now. Damn. I got to wait till Christmas to get quiche. And you're getting it up there in Michigan right now. I'm a little bit jealous about that. Joe, I took the Jags on that one as well. I think that's going to be a freaking good game, Joe.
I do too. I'm really excited to watch it. Really excited to watch that Jags defense without Ramsey. And I'm really excited to see where Ramsey goes.
Moving right along here, Joe, you've got the Pats. The Pats.
Yeah.
The Patriots are at the Redskins. Guys, do we need to spend too much time here? Because unless you lose your... I can't even say that. The Patriots can beat the Redskins with their backup quarterback. Okay, I'm just saying it right now. This game should be a blowout. You guys know, if you paid attention, when Brady has what a lot would consider a poor start last week, a poor outing, he typically comes back aggressive and puts up over 300 yards. He's pretty much due for that. I'm saying the Redskins are going to get their ass handed to them, and not in a little way. This is a blowout, Joe. A blowout game. Who's even starting, Joe, for the Skins?
Well, I think Dwayne Haskins is starting.
Ouch.
Yeah, so we know he's kind of turnover prone, and I agree with you, John. This is going to be a blowout.
And I'm not so sure if the Skins are going to even score 10 points. Seriously.
I know. I agree with you.
I mean, because we know the Patriots' defense is good.
They are.
Guys, the Redskins. Joe, how's Gruden doing over there?
I don't know, man. Maybe he should link up with his brother. He could probably be a little bit more successful.
His brother's probably got a spot for him.
Yeah.
But I like Gruden, Jay Gruden, as a coach. I just don't think that they're set up with... Guys, this has been an issue with the Redskins for a very long time. A lot of people like to blame it on the owner and foolish moves made in picks, salaries being paid out, wrong moves in that area. So, I don't know. A lot of people do blame it on the owner with the Redskins, but I think the problem goes way deeper than the head coach on that team, Joe.
I completely agree. And, Jay Gruden is a good coach.
Yeah.
He is a solid coach, but I think it'd be cool if he joined forces with his brother and maybe took over the Raiders.
I mean, I think it'd be awesome too, but then what's the competition with those brothers right there, where they're going, I'm a head coach, Jay Gruden's going to say. What am I going to do something like that for? You got a fantasy freak. Fantasy Freak is his name. He's on YouTube, and he says, hey, pick 2 in a non-PPR, Sutton, Elshon, Walker, or Ridley.
Okay.
So this guy's talking to pick 2 in a non-PPR. He's talking Sutton. He's talking Elshon. He's talking Waller or Ridley. So, Joe, he's asking you to pick 2 there.
Right.
This is for Fantasy Freak, Joe.
Okay, Fantasy Freak, my man. Okay, so I would definitely start Alshon because he's going against the Jets, and it's non-PPR, so he's going to have definitely a couple touchdowns against the Jets. I would start Sutton if it was PPR, but if it's not PPR, I'm not starting him. And what's his Waller, you said?
Yeah, he's got Waller or Ridley.
Oh, I like Ridley.
Right.
I like Ridley. Calvin Ridley, yeah. Because that Falcons have a high-powered offense. And he's probably he might catch a couple touchdowns, but it is unpredictable because Falcons, Matt Ryan does pass to a lot of people on that team.
So, reiterate it for Fantasy Freak and everybody else one more time. Joe, you've got Sutton, Alshon, Waller, and Ridley.
So, I'm Fantasy Freak. I'm going with Alshon and Calvin Ridley.
Nice. So, hey, I hope that is exactly what you were looking for, my friend. And guys, that was coming right off of the YouTube, the Leap Alive channel, which a lot of times, people are on the Facebook, but there's still YouTube guys out there. And so we've been doing our best to kind of pump that up, and we're going to do better as we go to pump up the YouTube channel. Guys, you can go to Leap Alive, and you can definitely, let me put that up for you, because you guys can go to Leap Alive, and you can, sorry about that. See, I told you I'm trying to wear all these hats here. Guys, if you go to Leap Alive on YouTube, please, when you get there, hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much, Fantasy Freak, for your involvement in it, and I hope we answered your question for you. Guys, go to YouTube. You can watch it from YouTube, and hit the subscribe button. We do appreciate your enthusiasm. We're going to move right along here, Joe. We're going to, and by the way, both Joe and I took the Patriots to annihilate the Skins. Bills at the Titans, Joe. Joe, this is going to be a good game. The Bills are at the Titans.
Right, I think this is going to be a close game, and if the Titans don't give Derrick Henry the ball, I don't see them winning this game. I think the Bills' defense is way too good, probably the best secondary in the NFL, and look for a lot of turnovers. Look for Marcus Mariota to make a lot of mistakes. that defensive coordinator, Ryan, he's good. So watch his defensive schemes. I think the Bills pull this one out.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm impressed with what the Bills have done. I'm very impressed with the defense of the Bills. Allen's a competitor. Joe, have you noticed how competitive this guy is? I think that he has, right now, from last year, turned out to be the best pick, Joe.
Right, and I agree with you, John. I think he is a competitive guy, a lot of moxie, and he could run the ball as well.
This guy looks like, Joe, it looks like he's going to be around for a very long time. He looks like an NFL quarterback, and when I say that, I'm saying the type that you build a team around for years to come. He's got size, he's got the arm, and he seems to have that swag in the huddle, the way he's actually controlling the huddle and his team under pressure. I like this guy. I think they got a lot to build on with their offense, and their defense looks freaking good. Guys, the Bills are back. The Bills are back right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like Josh Allen. And the thing I really like about Josh Allen is his toughness. He's tough, man. He doesn't run out of bounds like a lot of quarterbacks do, which is probably smart. But he takes the hit, and he does well.
He's competitive.
Yeah, he's competitive.
And guys, if you want to know why Brady's going to be on fire today, it's because he had a poor game last week. Why did he have a poor game last week, Joe?
Well, we know why Brady had a poor game last week. Well, there's a lot of reasons, actually. He wasn't getting protected, and wide receivers were dropping passes, and, the defense wasn't looking very good. So,
but I'm not going to give them the back door in that way. I'm giving the credit to who they were playing. I'm giving the credit to the defense they were playing. I'm giving the credit to the fact that they were playing a defense that took away the pass coverage, that put the pressure on the receivers, that gave very small windows and very short amount of time to Brady, Joe.
Right. I agree with you, John, and that's what you have to do against Brady. You have to have a defensive scheme against Brady that limits his passes, and you have to, this is what I recommend if you're playing the Patriots. I recommend you man up a linebacker against the running back.
Have to
do that, because that's what Brady does, nickel and dime, like we've been telling you about. And then you have to stop the best receiver on that team.
Watch what everybody does when they play through the playoffs, the Patriots. They're playing them 10 yards off of the ball. And if you do that with Brady, and you can hear the announcers screaming about this, because they're like, what are you doing? No, you need a pass rush, and you need the bump and run. You need to be playing up on these receivers, because if you don't and you're 10 yards off of them, hike, throw the ball. And that's the way it goes right there. So what do we got, a call coming in, Joe?
Well, I believe we're going to have a call soon, man.
Okay. When we get a call, let me know. We'll go right to it. And I'm not even wired up quite yet on that. But back to, Joe, like what we said, is that call, I don't even know if that call is coming in to me or what it is. So, guys, let me go ahead and wire up. We do have a call, and I'll get to it right now. Let's see if we're there. Welcome to a Leap of Life. Who do we have on the phone here?
Uncle Pat!
Pat! What's going on, bud?
Not much. How you guys doing today?
We're good, man. Thanks for calling this direct line, man. Your audio now is off the chain, brother.
Yeah. So
Here.
I have a very relaxing day today.
Yeah, what's going on today? What games?
I have no worries today.
No worries.
Because I don't have to worry about my Lions breaking my heart today.
That is true. You got a relaxing day. Man, it was a close one, though, with the Lions, man.
Yeah, we almost pulled it off.
You know,
I don't
it's
know about
just,
that fumble. I'm still questioning that.
look, the fumble was BS, man. That was BS, man. I hate to see something like that. Nobody contested the guy picking the ball up and running because everybody thought clearly. Now, what are we supposed to do? You're going to end up getting penalties because somebody's going to come run up like they're going to grab a ball where everybody thought it was down, and somebody's going to level the guy if he puts his hand near it. They're going to level the guy, knock him out of his cleats, and they're going to get a penalty because, hey, I didn't know if the play was over. He looked like he was going to grab the ball. What do you think he's going to do? Run it back 99 yards? I don't know if it was a fumble, what it was. Hell no! Somebody's cleats are going to be laying in the third row, Pat.
That's it.
I mean, that was the game. Detroit had that, Pat. That was the game. And we're not talking about anybody. That was the Kansas City Chiefs. Joe, you seen it?
Yep.
I saw it too, man. And like I said, I thought the Lions were going to win that one. Too bad for that fumble. But I still think the Lions win that division.
Pat, what do you think about that?
They're playing well. Yeah, they're playing well. They got this week off. They should come back. That defense could be even better. And hopefully they'll start rolling.
But Pat, are you with Joe? Are you with Joe? Do you think the Lions can win this division?
Oh boy!
I know.
There's so much pain. I feel it coming up. I don't even want to think about that possibility.
Pat, you are a true Lions fan because all of my Detroit brothers from other mothers. The same way you never want to fully commit because of how many times we've been burned. I mean, I can tell you right now, Pat, I remember 1990, was it 90 or 91, Barry Sanders, we won the playoff game, the first playoff game in 10 years at home in the Pontiac Silverdome against Dallas. We smashed them. The next week we went up, we played the Redskins on a sheet of ice, and we lost. I've seen grown men on their hands and knees crying, I said, Pat.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're not really ready to fully commit here because you don't want to be brokenhearted.
No, I can't do that. I'm not ready yet. We got to see how they come back from this.
Joe, you're going to have to pull them into this. If you're calling for Detroit, Joe, did you get any Detroit swag over the years?
No, but I really like Barry Sanders, and Uncle Pat and I will go trick or treating, and we'll talk about it.
You'll go trick or treating and talk about it.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good time, man. That's a Michigan thing too. The way Pat, they don't have Devil's Night down here.
Yeah, lucky for them.
Lucky for them.
That's right.
People just don't even get it, do they, Pat?
No. Gotta be there.
Guys, if we told you what Devil's Night's like up north in Michigan, it's the night before Halloween, they call it Devil's Night. They ended up to where we had a curfew, and you had to be in your house at 7 o'clock the night before Halloween, or you would be arrested. That's a true story. There was 300 fires one year in one night on Devil's Night in Detroit. 300 fires.
Yep.
Hey, but that's how we took care of them crack houses, right?
That's it.
So, Joe,
They can laugh now.
anything you got here for Pat, man? Anything that you think Pat may have some valuable info for our fans? Pull it out of him, Joe.
All I could say is Matthew Stafford's throwing for a lot of yards this season. I think he's going to have a good game. And, once we all get a family gathering, maybe Halloween, Thanksgiving, we'll talk about it. Pull him in.
You're going to pull him in.
Yeah.
What's one of the highlight games that you're looking at today, Pat?
Well, I'm going to chill out, watch the Bucs today. Hopefully we get another 55-40 game because I'm rooting for the Bucs, but I got Michael Thomas going. So I'm looking for high scoring today.
Yeah. Michael Thomas is look for him to go off today. Yeah, so good games. What's the appetizers that you're busting out today?
Already cooked up the macaroni and cheese. So we're going on orange. Macaroni and cheese and Cheetos. And crush.
Macaroni and cheese and Cheetos.
There you go.
Is the macaroni and cheese the dip for the Cheetos?
No. That's not. No, I wouldn't do that. That's just my entree. I got nacho cheese for that. More orange.
Nacho cheese, man. I haven't had Cheetos in a long time. Yeah, I think it's because it's the only thing that's messier than wings is Cheetos. I mean, you can't tell anybody that there's no Cheetos in the house if you look at their face because there's orange all the way around their lips and their fingers. So You can't hide
the
Tito's.
best part is licking your finger when you're done.
It is. Joe, you like that part?
I love it.
That's nasty. All right, Pat, what would you say? Let's go right there with you on this one. What would you say would be your upset pick? The upset pick of the week.
I got to go with the Bucks. They're in New Orleans. They're not favored. I think they're gonna pull it off today.
So, Pat, your upset pick of the week is the Bucks going into New Orleans and coming away with the win. You're expecting them to look like they did last week.
We're gonna see some high-flying action today.
Man, I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward to it. I gotta admit, I was scared. Joe, you know what I'm talking about. I was scared last week, and then all of a sudden Jameis throws that pick, and I'm like, oh, and we come within 5 points, Joe.
Yeah, he did throw that pick, but guess what? That defense is looking great. Shaquille Barrett coming off the edge. Just call him Sack Barrett from now on.
He does look good, Sack Barrett.
I thought the Bucks were gonna pull Lions last week.
Pat, I'm serious. I'm like, okay, here we go. All these points that were just put up, all this great stuff we're watching doesn't even matter. It like zeroed right out at that point, and everybody knew that. And you know what, Pat? I felt like a Lions fan. How many times we've seen that? Here it is happening. Everything great that happened up to that point right there, everything great that happened went out the window, and it was just like nothing had ever happened. It was like the beginning of the game right there, a 5-point game. Because I'm like, here we go. They're going to come, they're going to score, and Jameis is going to have to act like he's got to pull off a miracle, and he's going to do something stupid. Luckily, it didn't happen, and they could have potentially reined this guy in. They could have.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see today, because New Orleans defense, Joe, talk to me. This defense is no joke.
Yeah, this defense is good. They have Cameron Meredith. Eli Apple, he's decent. And they also have Marshawn Lattimore. Probably has a big game. So they have a solid defense.
Solid defense. It's going to be a good game. Any sleepers in there that you might think we want to take a look at, Pat, while we got you on here? You got any sleeping beauties is what we call them.
Well, you guys were talking about it before. I like the Bills. I got the Bills defense playing today, and after last week, I picked them up this week, and I'm hoping that they keep it going.
The sleeping beauty, the Bills, right?
Yeah.
They do look great, and I'm happy for them. I don't know if the Bills I still don't know if the Bills have recovered from 4 consecutive Super Bowl appearances. I don't know. Those were incredibly. Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly, Reed. I mean, those were incredible teams. Can you imagine being that fan, Pat?
Oh, God, that's worse than being a Lions fan those 4 years.
I felt so bad for them. It started. First of all, I loved watching them play throughout the season every year. Thurman Thomas was awesome. Jim Kelly was awesome. Reed was awesome. I mean, those were great Buffalo teams. But I'm telling you right now, Pat, I don't know that these guys have recovered from them 4 Super Bowl appearances, 4 losses in a row at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's tough stuff, man.
So that kind of is a good sleeping beauty, because a lot of people have never gotten over that. Joe, give some last thoughts here to Pat before we shift gears and move on.
Well, I just want to tell him that, we're going to have some fun at the family gatherings this year, and we'll be talking about the Lions. I still think the Lions are going to win their division, and excited to watch some football.
I'm excited too. Pat, enjoy your mac and cheese, your Cheetos, and what did you say you were drinking?
Orange Crush.
Orange Crush. Man, you're going all orange today, dude.
All orange.
You might be a secret Browns fan. You might be.
Or are the Bucks wearing the creamsicle today? I don't know.
Oh, nice. Got it. All right. All right, Pat, enjoy the game. Thanks for the call, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys, take care.
See ya. Guys, if you want to call the show, we're here for you. We are here for you. Chime in, call the show. Joe, moving right along here, my friend, we're going... Man, Joe, we didn't even call a Ravens-Steelers game. We talked about it before, but we didn't call a pick on it.
Well, John, I'll tell you my pick right now, and I agree with Ian. I'm going with the Steelers. I just think the Steelers, their offense, it's looking good. Past game, they look good. Defense is looking real fast. I like their blitz packages. And the Wildcat, I agree with you, man. That's going to probably be the difference, so I got the Steelers.
Wildcat, the difference. I'm telling you this right now. I like what I'm seeing in Pittsburgh. I do like it, okay? But this is where we're going to immediately, first and foremost, you did take the Bills, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Mark that down. Joe, we met our first difference in this one, okay? I'm looking for the Ravens defense, and I'm looking for the Ravens to be a little bit better prepared here with their offensive strategy in game. I am taking the Ravens to go into Pittsburgh and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's our difference right there. I can guarantee you right now, I know who you're going to take in this next game, Joe. Cardinals are at the Bengals, Joe.
You always know I'm a big fan of Kyler Murray, so I'm going with the Cardinals. I hope they get their first win, man.
Cardinals looking to get their first win. They're facing the Bengals. Guys, I'm going to tell you what here. With the permission of the fans, first, before I go there real quick, because I don't want to neglect what's happening over here. Upset of the week from Ian. Ian says the upset of the week is Washington over New England. Ian, look, you've become a regular. Joe, Ian's become a regular on the show, okay? Joe, Ian, this could be the biggest upset that anybody's called on this show yet this season, Joe.
Yeah, that's a real bold prediction.
I mean, this could be the biggest upset that anybody's called on this show yet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I like it. I like the confidence, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I mean, is there a chance, Joe? I mean, Joe, you got to give the hat off. You got to give the respect to him, okay? I mean, we definitely have to give the respect to him. But Joe, talk to me here. Is it close? We call the blowout. Is it close?
No. I'll give them a 10% chance to win this game.
10% chance to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots are just so, dominant, and especially because they have more talent than they had this year than last year. So, it's tough. And a rookie quarterback, I don't think.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ian. Let me tell you what, Ian. I just got to tell you. Ian, I'm thinking this has got to be the biggest upset alert that we have ever had on the show, Ian. This has to be the biggest upset alert we've ever had on the show. And I appreciate your enthusiasm. I do, and this is definitely right now, Ian, if this is your swag's gonna go off the chart, Ian, if you hit this, and people are gonna be coming to Leap Alive and Sports Static just to get your info. So Ian, we're giving this to you, and I'm marking this down right now. Ian is picking the Skins for his upset. Ian, I just marked you down right now. I marked you down. This is huge, Ian. Anybody on the show, can anybody on the show agree with Ian on the upset? Joe, should we be checking Ian's pulse here, Joe?
I don't know, man. I like it, though. I like the confidence.
It's bold.
It is bold.
I love that it's bold. I love that part of it. So, to me, that's what's awesome about it. It's bold, and that's what we like. So, Ian, Duly noted, my friend. Duly noted. So, sorry?
Last game.
Last game?
This is the last game.
Oh my God, we've only done 6.
Oh.
Man, there's a lot of games.
Man, we got a lot to go then.
Oh yeah, it's only 11:45. I mean, this show is early. Yeah, we've only gotten 4 games out of the way here. Guys, I have to tell you this right now. Cardinals. The Cardinals at the Bengals. I'm coming back to that with the permission of everybody because I could potentially take that win away, Joe, and Cardinals may not. So I'm gonna revert back to that, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, John. I still have the Cardinals winning that.
It could be my upset, though. It could very well be my upset. Moving along, guys. We're going right now. Falcons, Joe. Falcons are at the Texans.
Yeah, I have the Falcons winning this one, even though I don't want them to win. But I just think the offensive line for the Texans isn't good at all. Deshaun Watson gets hit every game. I don't think he makes it through the season. I think Julio Jones has a big game. And Matty Ice, he has ice in his veins. I think he has a big game as well.
I'm with you on this one 100%. I'm also going for the Falcons to take that one. Guys, moving right along here, going into my NFL. I want to keep up with you guys. He can't... Joe knows, but what about those Rays? So Ian wants to know about the Rays too. He's definitely called for the upset. Can't give a reason, just a feeling on that, he's saying, for that upset pick of the week. And that's fair enough because it is all about that. So that's fair enough. Guys, moving right along here, here is the Buccaneers at the Saints. Joe, Bucks at the Saints.
Bucks all day. All day long, the Bucks. I think Jameis has a huge game. As I said, I think Mike Evans and Ronald Jones have big games too. I think Teddy Bridgewater is probably a sleeper quarterback in this game, and Alvin Kamara has a big game. Bucks all the way, fire the cannons.
I've got a difference on this one again, and I am not going with the Bucks. I am going with the Saints at home. They have an incredible home field stance. Their fans are going to be there supporting the second string cast as far as the quarterback goes. I've seen some things from the Buccaneers, but then again, I looked at that secondary. Good parts, bad parts. I think Kamara, I think a couple other things are going to happen here. The running game for the Saints is going to see what's up with this Buccaneers front line. I just think that when you're talking about a close game, the home field advantage to the New Orleans Saints, I think it'll be a close game, but I'm looking for the Saints to take that game. Joe, moving right along, Vikings are at the Giants.
Well, I know you like Danny Jones, and let me tell you guys, John was the first one to come up with that name, Danny, and but I think the Vikings win this one, even though Kirk Cousins has been kind of down recently, but I have the Vikings because Stephon Diggs is playing this game, and Adam Thielen. Then you got Kyle Rudolph up the middle, and Dalvin Cook. Like you always said, Dalvin's a great running back.
Dalvin Cook. And I'm telling you, I do like Danny. Danny, what's up, Danny? Danny Jones. I like Danny. They're playing at home, the Giants. Good for them. Vikings are too much, guys. It's about putting the pieces together. Their defense is good. They got a good defense. Their running game's good. They got a good running game. And Cousins, he'll put it together. Guys, there's a lot of heat right now. A lot of heat, Joe, in this game. And there's a lot of locker room issues going on. What can we expect to see from Minnesota today?
I think we can expect a lot of gunslinging from Kirk Cousins, and I think they're going to run the ball a lot. Yeah, I think the Vikings defense is also going to show up. I think Anthony Barr has an interception, and Everson Griffin has a couple sacks as well.
So it's going to be an exciting game. Guys, I've got the Vikings on that as well. Here comes, for everybody at the Hotspur Stadium in London. I hope you guys are getting ready for this game. NFL in London, and it's at that Hotspur Stadium, Tottenham, and Bears. I think the Bears, guys, enjoy that London game. You're going to see a dominant defense and one extremely dominant defensive player in Mac that is playing the team that did not value him or didn't want to pay him what he felt he was worth. The Bears did, and the Bears are reaping the benefits from it. I tell you right here, right now, I'm taking the Bears with a dominant defense. I do believe it can be a close game, but I got the Bears winning this one, Joe.
I completely agree, John. I think Khalil Mack has a huge game, and I think that defense shows up today. It's going to be a low-scoring game, but that defense is looking great.
The defense does look good. You got the Jets at the Eagles. I didn't check to see as far as what's come back as far as, okay, I don't know if Darnold's back. I was reading about it, and I know it was a questionable thing. Joe, do you know if Darnold's back?
I don't know. I know he has mono, and he's out kissing girls all the time. So I don't know, but guess what, John? I don't have the Jets winning this one. I got the Eagles winning this one. Alshon has a big game. Carson Wentz has a big game. So Eagles.
So regardless, the same with me of whether Darnold's back or not.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this. The Jets are finishing close to last as far as stopping the pass. And that's just it right there with Wentz and how he's been playing. He's coming back to that particular season a couple years ago where he was having that MVP type season prior to getting injured. And of course, we know about the rest of that story, the fairy tale story where Foles came in, picked the team up, put him on the back of his, and it took him through the playoffs and to the Super Bowl to beat the Patriots. So we don't know where Wentz goes when he's going MVP because he's got to stay healthy. However, today with Wentz, and what Wentz is going to bring today against a poor Jets defense in stopping the pass, look for a lot of yards coming from Wentz today. Guys, pay attention to that for your fantasy, okay? Wentz should have a huge day today against that Jets defense. I'm taking the Eagles along with Joe on that one. Here we go. Joe, we have the Broncos at the Chargers.
Well, John, I have the Chargers in this one. Melvin Gordon's back. Gordon's back, so that's for your fantasy picks, guys. You have to start Melvin Gordon. Eckler's been doing really well, but I'd start Melvin Gordon. I'd start Keenan Allen. Phillip Rivers going to have a great game. Chargers take it.
Broncos having a tough time stopping the run as well. And you've got Eckler's, and then, Gordon's back, right?
Yep.
But look, I'm just going to tell you right now, don't expect him to have maybe 15, 20 touches. That's what I'm predicting. So, Joe, who's going to still continue to be taking some of the load here?
Eckler's going to be taking some of the load.
So, guys, if you thought about Gordon coming back and now you're thinking about what you're going to do with Eckler, if you have been playing him, understand something here. The guy's hot, okay? And if you're just coming back with Gordon, it's not like you want to be throwing Gordon in there when you've already got a productive running back that's been there, and he's been doing very well. To go up against somebody who's not stopping that run very well right now, expect Eckler to get the majority. I still think right now Eckler gets 20, 25 carries. Okay, touches. Say touches. I don't know how they're coming. Versus Gordon, 15 to 20. So, guys, think about that with what you do with those picks on there like that. And, Joe, I'm taking Chargers on that one as well because of the combination of Gordon back and Eckler there. Phillip Rivers. Come on, guys. All right? This is the way it's going to go. Moving right along here, Joe. You've got the Packers at the Cowboy. Big time game right here. This is Packers at Dallas, Joe.
Yep, game of the week right here. And you know who I'm going with? I'm going with that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay Packers are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys, and I believe they're going to beat them by slinging it and by running the ball. So that combination with Matt LaFleur, it's going to pull out the win.
I appreciate your enthusiasm and your love for Mr. Aaron Rodgers. However, I'm going to tell you this right now. I am taking Dallas at home. Zeke has been warming the tires up. I'm expecting Dallas to have a really big showing in offense and defense today. A complete show today for Dallas, showing us who they are, where they are, and how dominant they plan to be in making a second straight appearance. And I'm telling you right now, Dallas is going to make Green Bay look mediocre and give more attention to the fact that you say, Joe, Detroit has the division. Detroit's not going to easily have the division if you keep picking the Green Bay Packers to win.
Right. Well, it's going to be real tough. It's going to be close in that division, to be honest. I do really like the Green Bay Packers. But I like the Lions, too. You're making me become a fan.
Lions?
I still think the Lions will take this division.
I got to go today against the grain here. Joe and I going against it again. I have Dallas making an impressive appearance at home today. I believe they've got the pieces, the talent, everything right there. And guys, I'll tell you this right now. Today, with the game, Packers at Dallas will be where I come on the next show and tell you, based on what I see today, if Dallas goes deep into the playoffs. This game right here is what I'm looking at with this game. So I'm taking Dallas. Joe's taking the Packers. Joe, moving right along here. We go to the 8 o'clock game, Joe. The Colts are at the Chiefs, Joe.
Well, you guys know how I like Jacoby Brissett and the Colts and Marlon Mack and T.Y. Hilton and all the pieces they have. But, the Chiefs are way too high-powered. And I think Tyreek Hill has a big game. Patrick Mahomes is just so good. I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer. And
that's going real fast, man.
Oh, definitely.
We're 2 years in here.
No doubt in my mind. Most passing yards ever, most touchdowns ever, Hall of Famer for sure. But I got the Chiefs winning this one.
To me, this is an easy pick, even though I'm liking. Joe, you've been with Colts a lot. You like the Colts. You like Brissett.
I like Brissett, yeah.
But when we start talking KC, Joe, it's a total different story no matter who you are.
Right.
Dominance.
Exactly.
So, guys, I like the Colts too. Now, however, I will tell you this. If Andrew, as much as I like Brissett, as much as you do, Joe, if Andrew Luck was the starting quarterback today, like we thought he would be, I may not have taken, because I think the Colts would be a different team. I tell you that right now. Had it been Andrew Luck, I probably, with the Colts, I think we would have seen a total different team. So I've got KC slapping them around today like we see them do. So I'm taking that too. Going to the Monday night game. Here's one for you. The Browns, Joe. The Browns are at the 49ers.
I'm going the Browns. I know the 49ers are undefeated, but their strength of schedule really isn't that tough. I'm definitely going the Browns. Watch for Odell Beckham to have a big game. Watch for Nick Chubb to also have a big game. And Baker, he's a dangerous man.
Baker is a dangerous man. He is. I mean, and what I like about Baker is he's had some tough outings. He's not having the success that he had last year. Obviously, breaking the rookie record, touchdown record, okay? Where he didn't even start the season, by the way. But he's not having some of the success, but he's keeping his head up. He is a competitor, okay? Baker's a competitor. He's got great receivers. We've seen Chubb, great running back. Yeah, they're facing this 49ers team that looks hot. 49ers are at home. But I told you guys in the beginning, and to let you guys know something here, okay? I told you this in the beginning. And when I told you in the beginning, I told you guys, I wasn't on the bandwagon. I was not on the bandwagon, guys. That was not me back there. That was not me on the bandwagon, guys. It just wasn't me. I was not on the bandwagon at all. I was not. I had the Browns last year winning when everybody said they wouldn't. I'm an underdog fan. I'm always pulling for it. Don't be one of these guys that look around and all of a sudden you're going to go for all these teams who start winning and playing that bandwagon stuff. Don't be afraid to stick up for your losers like all these damn Cleveland people have been. Man, what fans they have. If only we had some fans like that helped us in Tampa at times. I put my neck out there. I'll tell you. I'll go against my team. I'll tell you when I think they suck and when I think they're good. But guys, don't try jumping on that bandwagon. Support the loser. Even if you think they're going to lose, you got to have faith. There's a song about that. So you guys, you got to have faith. That's what I say. So anyway, back to what we've been saying here. Joe, you're taking Browns to come in and take that undefeated record away from the 49ers?
I am.
Wow. They're in San Francisco, Joe.
I know, but I just think the Browns, I like the underdog as well. And also, the 49ers haven't played anybody. So, this is a real test.
This is a real test, and I'm taking the Browns.
Yep.
I'm taking the Browns as well. I have to go and do what we haven't done here in several minutes, guys, is I left all you guys hanging on the comments. And I apologize for that, which has been pretty quiet anyway. Probably because I haven't been there paying attention to you guys, but I want to. So I'm going to real quick go over a couple things here real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Guys, if you have some last ditch efforts from everything we've told you, and guys, what we don't want, okay? Here's what we don't want. We don't want any crybabies. We don't want that. All right? I know. Hush. Okay. Guys, we don't want any crybabies. Okay? Don't be a baby if we didn't pick your team to do extremely well and we're against your team. Don't be a baby. Support that losing team, guys. Support the losing team. You got to support the losing team. Don't be scared to do it. So, taking a look ahead, here's what I want to do. Joe, I'm going in to my hourglass. Take a stroll with me, guys, deep into the hourglass. What do I see as I'm gazing into this hourglass? That's one of these games that I left behind. I just couldn't figure out what to do, guys, with those Cardinals and the Bengals. The Bengals that look so horrible. Now, as I gaze into my hourglass, guys, things are starting to become clear, guys. Look deep with me here, guys. Can you see it right there? Can you see the Red Rocket, guys? Can you see him? Look deep. The Red Rocket's going to go off today. The Bengals defense has to show up a little bit better here. Kyler Murray's going to lose the ball. He's been sacked 12 times, okay, in the last couple games. I appreciate his baseball slides. Things are going to change today. Things are going to change. The Bengals, guys, they need it at home for you Cincinnati diehard fans. I'm calling it, guys. I am seriously calling it. The Bengals. And not only am I going to call it, guys, I'm telling you right now what's going to happen here with my pick, guys. Here it comes. I am calling it. Guys, it is my upset pick of the week. And some of you may think it's not an upset, but how many of you actually have Cincinnati beating the Cardinals on this one? I'll tell you right now, I'm going with it. I've moved over. I've picked up the Bengals to win this game, and I'm excited about it, guys. I mean, I am excited about the Bengals winning that game. So we'll see what happens. I mean, to me, Joe, who knows on this one? Am I out of line calling these Bengals on this one?
Hey, anyone can win this game. This is a toss-up game, but I'm going with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals.
Kyler Murray and the Cardinals to win that game. Guys, I want to put this out to you. I want to put it out there. Check it out. Stay with me here, guys. Sports Static on Facebook. Guys, you've got to like, the Sports Static. You've got to freaking like the Sports Static page, wherever you're watching it from. Sports Static on Facebook, guys. Make sure you check it out, all right? That's what it's there for. It's there for you guys. And we are all about the fans here. This is about the fans. That's you guys. Throw it back, Joe, to us. And it comes to us. Then we throw it back at you. It's from the fans to the fans and back to the fans. So guys, make sure that you are watching that, okay? Make sure to check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are Sports Static. And the whole idea here, guys, is to get involved. Get involved with your Sports Static show. It's what it's all about, getting involved. And guys, without you, there's not a show. We want to give you the best tips that we can. You guys just got to stay engaged and involved. I want to give a big shout out to everybody in London watching the game. Guys in London watching the game. Big shout out to you. It's going to be a big game for you guys today. Have a great time. Enjoy your NFL football in London. You guys got 4 games here. It's going to be exciting for you. Joe, any words out to the London fans?
London fans, you guys are going to be watching a great game. Khalil Mack, it's going to be a great game. And closing statements, Buccaneers winning top of the division.
Buccaneers winning top of the division. Joe, that's huge. That is huge. Guys, I'm going back to the line real quick one more time, making sure we got any last comments coming in from Sports Static fans. Last chance, guys, to comment in. So if you want to comment in, let's go to the line here with the Sports Static fans, see what we got. Ian, enjoy the game. I'm cruising over, checking out the Leap Alive page. Where's it at? Leap Alive page. Guys, enjoy the game. Going over to the Facebook or the YouTube. Make sure you just subscribe to each and every page. Last thoughts, Joe, before we go watch some NFL football.
Last thoughts, all I'm thinking about is some wings, some lemonade, and Halloween's coming up, guys. Spooky stuff. Bucks, baby, all the way. We're pulling out the win today. Fire the cannons.
Fire the cannons, guys. The Buccaneers got a tough game. I picked the Saints with this one, so get ready. The New Orleans Saints bust out some of that Creole smokehouse stuff. I love that Louisiana-style sauce, so get that ready to go, guys. Guys, next show is Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Be ready for it to come. It's going to be an exciting, ecstatic show. Enjoy your football on Sunday, and we will see you Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Peace out, my friends. Enjoy your show.